Hello right bags, it's Jade. Welcome to a Biomutant guide today on crafting. I'm pretty much going to give you my 10 top tips and 10 things I wish I knew before going ahead and crafting a bunch of stuff. By now I'm sure you've experimented a little bit, maybe you've changed and added some add-ons to your armor pieces, or you've already started to make some badass weapons. So there'll be a few basic tips in this top 10, but a lot of it is a bit more advanced on how you can start making ultimate weapons and level 7 weapons. So please make sure you liked, make sure you're subscribed, and let's go through my crafting tips. It can be a bit overwhelming at first seeing all these different items, although for a while you won't seemingly get much loot. My top tip number 1 is absolutely, please make sure you go to perks, and one of the first upgrade points you get the luck out. This is going to give you your loot chance an increase of 10%. So no matter what character you've got, even if you've already got good luck, go ahead and get that. It's cheap, it's super easy, and definitely it's going to help people that maybe didn't go for a character that's got much luck. Luck is definitely something for ranged players more, particularly if you are going to be using things like rifles or auto rifles. Lots of the other perks and attributes, they're all geared towards melee players. You can be a tanky character, you can increase your melee damage, or your movement speed to dodge enemies. And then of course we've got the magic character, the intellect, increasing your power regen and stuff like that. But in terms of someone that just wants to play with ranged weapons, there's not much going on. That's because a lot of ranged weapons are OP in the game. It's sometimes the quickest and easiest way to deal with a lot of the enemies. And by increasing the critical chance, you're obviously going to take them out more. And the loot chance, you're going to be able to craft and get even more items. I think I've sunk at least 14 points into my luck. And on top of that, anything you're going to buy from a vendor, always try and look for bags that will give you more luck. You can get some holy bags out there that give you 18 plus luck. So combined with that perk, that's how you're going to get loads of nice gear to make sure you're crafting the best items. Top tip number 2, never sell any of your items that you've made to some of these dudes. And by that I mean don't sell any of the weapons that you've crafted. Sure, you'll get some green for it and that's good. You can then go ahead maybe and buy some really special add-ons and stuff. But the one thing you can't buy that I've so far found is actual crafting resources. You see the bottom left, the crafting resources, I've got a fair amount now. 73 metal, 80 planks, 59 plastic, 35 rubber and 99 e-waste. A lot of the armor pieces particularly that are going to be just junk or useless, you might want to just get rid of them, think, I'll sell them, I'll get something back for them. But you'll be missing out on a whole host of really cool options, which is the crafting. And I actually still think it's better value not to sell these, but to break them down instead. You get a bunch of resources back, and that can alleviate you having to go and take on every single junk pile that you find. So that's top tip number 2. Never sell a weapon or an item unless you desperately need a new add-on or something's really super cool. Always dismantle stuff that you don't necessarily need. If you do want to sell some stuff, go ahead and sell everything else. You'll find a bunch of items out in the world that seemingly don't have much use. Unless there's some quests that I've not come across yet, it looks like lots of this is just junk. So this is a way to get some green up. Also do pay attention to where the trader is. It does look like the harder areas with higher level enemies may have more rarer items in them, but generally the prices across the board are pretty much the same. It doesn't look like it matters either where you sell your stuff. Different traders seemingly offer the same prices for pretty much everything. For sure, you could go ahead and sell some of the weapon parts that you're not going to be using. If you know absolutely you're not interested in shotguns, then I would get rid of any of the junk and maybe only just keep 1 or 2 of the best ones just in case you do want to try it out later. I have pretty much dismantled every resource tower I've come across, literally maybe 50 or 60 of them. You normally get 1 to 5 of each type depending on what one it is. And I've sunk 30 hours into the game now. I am level 30 and just look how much I've actually got. Now I have spent some of that on upgrades and stuff, but you get the idea. It can take quite a while to build up. Top tip number 3. You may have come across these air balloons with the crafting benches in them where you can upgrade either your armor or your weapons. They're kinda not really worth it, not unless you're really thinking about New Game Plus. Now upgrading your weapons is incredibly expensive. To get this from Boostoid to Strong or Diam, you can see it's going to cost me either 23 out of all my resources or 35 to go the next level up. And what am I gaining from that? Maybe 20 extra damage? This is something I really don't recommend you do until you get really to the end game and maybe you're trying your 2nd or 3rd run. Don't forget you keep all of your weapons and your items when you start a New Game Plus. I think the only thing you don't keep is the tribe weapons. That's a lot of resources just to waste on only getting maybe an extra 30 damage points. Even at low levels where you're just trying to get it to go up a little bit, you're still only getting about 20 extra damage. I think it's much more fun to actually go ahead and craft new weapons altogether. It really does seem like this is just a bit OP and definitely geared towards when you start your New Game Plus. You're not going to have any real need for any ultimate weapons that much in your first playthrough, as the game is quite easy unless you put it on hard straight away. Please don't waste your resources on this. You also can't upgrade certain weapons either. You can't upgrade any of the tribe weapons, nor any of the special bionic ones that you'll get. Now this kind of does suck, as it often means that you're not going to be able to do much with these. You've only got very specific uses. And yes, you can go ahead and upgrade your ultimate weapons. Don't think you can't. You'll often come across the ultimate weapons in the yellow boxes, and it might seem they're pretty much complete, but obviously you can add brand new items to them to increase what they do, and you can go ahead and increase the overall quality. This is probably the only time I would say it's worth maybe upgrading and spending all of your hard-earned resources, is to go ahead and upgrade an ultimate weapon and increase its quality and material. But again, it's all relative. I still think it's much more fun to go ahead and just craft brand new weapons and make sure you've got elemental damage types out with all of them. Top tip number 4, don't panic if you've accidentally used your stick on a weapon and now you actually want to use that stick on something different. You will be able to craft and make it, but what you're going to need to do is swap out the weapon that you've already got. So I've got one-handed slash there. Let's get my other one-handed slash. If I scroll through my handles, you'll see obviously the stick is not listed. So if you have made a weapon and you desperately want to get that item back, maybe it's the blade, maybe it's the handle, go ahead and just modify that item, swap it out for something different, click craft, and there you go, you can put your stick or your other piece back onto it. But be warned, this is a quick way to go through your crafting resources. This is another reason why also I think it's sometimes better just to make whole new weapons completely rather than keep dismantling or taking or swapping items over. Just to make this most basic of stick katanas, it's going to cost me 1 metal, 2 planks, 1 plastic and 1 rubber. Whereas for a few more resources I can go ahead and craft a completely brand new weapon that might have completely different or better elemental damage types. So basically don't tinker around too much with the weapons you've already created. You'll quickly start eating through your resource crafting costs. Instead, it's better to save up a little bit and just make whole brand new weapons. As said, if there's desperately something you want, like the base type for this, well, I can go ahead and adjust and move other items around it. Top tip number 5. It's pretty obvious, but don't craft anything unless it's got some sort of elemental damage to it, or it's got a perk like this one with the riposte. After being hit by an enemy attack, this next hit inflicted with this weapon does double damage. It's worth waiting and saving up a few of these special attachments or add-ons that you'll find. There's so many different types, I'm not going to list it in this video, but look out, I may go through all of the different types you can find. Like I said, you can experiment, you can make weapons, but it is going to eat into your crafting cost resources. And so you'll find that you want to make something because you've just got loads of great new rare items, but you can't make it because you're going to have to go and farm them crafting items. So really try not to craft anything new unless it's really going to give you an extra benefit. When I first started playing, I was like, always make sure you craft something that's got some sort of elemental damage or add-on attached to it, which you can find plenty of. But as I played through the game more and more, I realised that the elemental damage can be good, especially if it's a really high one, but absolutely, sometimes you'll find a beastly item that's got a perk in it and it doesn't really make sense trying to not use it just to wait for something that's got a special elemental damage type, like this cathode here. This Gigablade is one of the best blades you'll find in the game. It's amazing, especially because of the perk it gives you. It gives you extra units of armour score when you've got big vitality, so it's really good for melee characters. But look how much damage it does, even though it hasn't got any real elemental damage attached to it. So basically, elemental damage isn't the be-all, end-all, but it's definitely worth waiting to see if you can craft some of these items that have got better stats or add-ons. If you really think you need some extra elemental damage against a certain enemy, well, you can always use some of these special bullets which can last for a few seconds, whether or not it's the fire ones, the ice or the lightning chain. So yeah, craft lots of new weapons, but wait for the right ingredients, or make sure that weapon can't be improved really much more because it is such a godly weapon in the first place. Top tip 6, make sure you use your outfits. This is something I haven't done enough of, but definitely it saves you having to mess around and find the armour that's got more protection against certain things. Basically, make sure you've crafted and you've got items that are going to give you more protection at each zone. I think that is probably one of the best uses out of this. Just choose the slot, then go ahead and put whatever gears on. It might seem pretty obvious, but I spent ages just messing around, always changing my gear before I was like, duh, I've got actual outfits, let's use them up. Tip number 7, make sure you're checking for your modules in your armour pieces, that you're not using good ones in old armour. That's maybe the one issue with the outfit section, is that you might not be checking on some of your add-on slots as much. Obviously, anything that's got 4 slots will normally always be better than anything with 2, because you'll get them extra bonuses with the protection, unless again it's some godly like item. But you can easily swap out some of the modules or go ahead and dismantle that item, and you'll get the item back as well as all the modules. If you're going to spend your green on anything, spend it on the pieces for your guns or your weapons, your add-ons, or maybe some modules for your clothing. This can also be a good way to get your item up to a 7-star item, even though technically it might only be a rare or legendary item instead of an ultimate. Top tip number 8 is get rid of stuff frequently. Like I said, either dismantle it, which I think is the best option, or go ahead and sell stuff. But basically don't hold on to loads of armour that you're never going to need. If something is desperately needed because you're going to go into a new zone and maybe you haven't got enough protection, you could always put a few points in the perks, give you that bit of protection, or you can go and seek out the special suits. I've already done a guide on this showing you guys exactly where to get all the Among Us Easter eggs, but all these suits will protect you in the various different zones. Now some of these suits you might not get until you're well into the mid game, as some of the steps to get them are taking you all the way across the map, but I still would say get rid of a lot of your armour pieces that really aren't giving you an extra bonus or an extra buff. Don't keep them just because they're going to give you a tiny bit of protection against something. Trust me, if you're crafting and making lots of new stuff, the struggle for the crafting resources is real. And clothing is one of the quickest and easiest ways to get loads of that. You're only going to need some of these face masks to get you through certain areas without element damage, and maybe give you a little bit of an extra boost in actual protection. So go ahead and get rid of these, sell them or dismantle them. Tip number 9. If you're a bit short of one particular crafting resource, well, to pay attention to the bottom left. It will tell you exactly what you'll get for scrapping that add-on. So the bar bolt, 86, and there we go. I've got 87 metal now. Tip number 10 is don't prioritise rarities over abilities or elemental damage. Basically, you can get ultimate weapons that aren't as good. So you've got 6 technical rarity levels. You've got common, uncommon, then you've got rare, then you've got legendary, then you've got relic, then you've got ultimate. And in between each one of these, you'll have various different little subcategories like spectacular or extraordinary. It was a bit confusing for me at first. I was trying to work out exactly how many rarities there were and how to get each level, and really you just got to pay attention to the colours. So purple's obviously common, green is uncommon, you get the idea. They're just little subcategories for certain items. It's just meant to visually show you that you have crafted and upgraded your weapon a slightly little bit. So usually it's not massive changes, it might be adding a new handle or adding a new modification. So yeah, basically don't just always keep the best rarity items. You may find that there is still something that's like just a relic or one below legendary, and it's got a really good ability. That is more important, is paying notice to what ability it gives you. After that, the importance relies on the elemental damage that it might be giving you. Some of the abilities, literally like Remedy, will give you some health back for every enemy that you kill, so that's really much more important for players that don't have a lot of vitality. There are a bunch of these different types of abilities and I'm going to show them all off in another video, but yeah, pay more attention to the overall damage stats that you're getting from an item rather than the colour of it or the rarity, and always aim, like I said, to get that killer item that's got an ability and also has some sort of elemental damage to it too. And that's the best part. By making sure you're getting lots and lots of parts, getting lots and lots of loot, you will be able to craft some of these god tier weapons. Just go easy on the crafting loads of new ones if they're not necessarily going to be a big jump up, as that's going to rinse through your crafting costs. And that is pretty much my 10 top tips for ultimate crafting. I hope that you found it useful. If you have, leave me a like and I'll see you right back with some more Biomutant very soon.